Hey guys, so here bringing you another video. Now welcome to another Climb to Master. This is another POV commentary, so apologies, there's been a few of these in a row. It's just, if the game is worth showing, I don't want to not show it. And as you guys know, if a game gets a bit stressful or a bit meh, then I stop commentating, and that's not very interesting to upload, so I'd rather do this. So I'm right now not in Diamond 2. We just played that Gangplank game, which we won. And that makes us at 91 LP at Diamond 3. So if I win this game, I go straight back into Diamond 2, which is exactly what happened last time. We're against a Zed. You can see that guy's stats. He's got 400 plus games on Zed. He's a one trick. And we're playing Veigar. Now, I did make a mistake going into this game. Some of you may have already spotted it. I've got Ignite. So unfortunately, Ignite is not what I wanted. I wanted TP, clearly. Hell, even Barrier or Exhaust would be better. But Ignite isn't exactly what you want on Veigar to survive a lane phase. You know, Veigar is a scaling champion, and you want to give yourself the best chances of getting there by helping... Well, TP helps you kind of get into lane easier, because the likelihood of you getting poked out in lane or engaged on in lane, losing trades in lane is very likely. So you can go back when you're a third health, close to death, TP back at full health. So that's kind of nice for that. Barrier clearly would help more surviving the 1v1, and Exhaust will do the same thing. So Ignite, not what I want, especially against a Zed. Especially you'd think against a Zed one trick, because he would in theory be looking to kill me. I know if I was playing Zed, you know, which I do occasionally, and I saw a Zed, a Veigar against me with Ignite, I would be like, ooh, this is juicy. So the enemy comp, just to say, they have a very weird comp. They have an Urgot support brand carry. Some people in Twitch chat were telling me there's a bunch of content creators that are saying this is good. It's not. Like, I know people will go, those people know what they're talking about, etc. And they partially do. But for the average player playing League, I think it's terrible. And I would say, even though this game right now is in the top 1% or whatever on Diamond, I still wouldn't advise these kind of weird picks. I just wouldn't. Like, that's one thing I think people don't really think about, is whenever these like pro coaches or whatever you want to call them, they're not kind of talking about the average player. They're not having that in mind. What they're having in mind is pro play, or they don't have to think if mechanics or decision making is going to be an issue, because they're doing it for pros. That's where they're balancing, or they're theory crafting these champions to. The average, you know, Joe Schmo in solo queue, don't do it. It's really good. Like, if you're right now, meanwhile Zed goes a bit aggressive, but I just kind of cage it off and don't take, well, I take a bit of damage, but not terrible. Could it be worse? But yeah, the average Joe Schmo, if you're maining something, if you've got a champion pool, let's say you're a support player, and then suddenly you're like, oh, I'm gonna start playing Urgot, it's not going to help your climb probably. Like, it just, on average, it's just probably not going to. And as you know, especially what I've always said about these kind of weirder cheese picks is, if you become overly reliant on it, oh my god, it's working, I'm climbing, and then it's inevitably going to get changed on nerf. That's just the way that Riot does things. They don't really like these kind of weird outlier picks, like most of the community don't. Then you're going to be overly reliant on a cheese pick that is inevitably going to be changed. So that is also not a very good thing in the long run. But anyway, more talking about the matchup specifically. Zed obviously does go a bit aggressive, looking for that early kill. Honestly, he could have killed me if he kind of committed, I'd say, his flash as well. But we survive just. And, you know, that's a good thing. Not dying. Don't want to let as Zed snowball is always kind of the plan when you're playing Veigar, or anything for that matter. And as I've mentioned, we are at an unfortunate disadvantage for my own mistake of taking Ignite. Now, big fight's happening, and this is a really sucky situation, because I'm not there, and that does kind of suck. So it's, in essence, Zeri got bullied away. We do get first blood, which is something. Brand picks up the kill on Brom then. So it's technically a 1-for-1, not the worst thing in the world, and that was in essence a 4v2. Meanwhile, in top lane, Singe gets a kill on Cho'Gath, and I will just say, this Cho'Gath, he did become a problem this game, and hilariously, he built near enough full AP. I've always said AP Cho'Gath is definitely not the way to go. You know, tank Cho'Gath is much of a bigger problem than AP. It's much the same as Sion. The biggest Sion performances I've seen in the recent year, let's say, is never AD Sion. It's always tank Sion. That is the problem. It's that kind of premise that people feel like you're doing more on that type of champion. Meanwhile, Singed, I think, overstayed and died. He didn't go back after he got that kill. People feel like they're doing more on these kind of tanky champions when they're building full damage, but in reality, they're not. They still weirdly do a lot of damage when you're building full tank. That's just the way League of Legends is nowadays. You can see the Zed is really desperately trying to go like quite aggressive on me. I don't blame him at all. It's what I would be looking to do, but his mechanics, not the cleanest so far in this game. You know, a really on point Zed, I think, would have probably killed me at least in the 1v1 once, maybe even twice by now. And part of it is the more desperate you are to try and get a kill here or there, the more sloppy or desperate your play can become. Sometimes being a bit calm about the situation and just kind of taking a deep breath and playing it kind of smooth is the better way of doing things. Because obviously there is that innate pressure on a Zed. You're against the Veigar. He's made a mistake running Ignite. You know, no one would think that was a thing that I did on purpose. You know, I do scale. Technically, Veigar's got unlimited scaling. In reality, he doesn't really, because like, in reality, he's got unlimited scale, or sorry, in theory, he's got unlimited scaling, but, you know, a League of Legends game doesn't really last any more than 30 minutes, 40 minutes on average nowadays. So, yeah, he's in theory got unlimited scaling, but it's never going to be like that. The game will end before craziness ensues. But I will say, Veigar very often, if you watch the Veigar game from yesterday or the day before, we did good in that game, and unfortunately we lost. And I will say this was in the same play session as that game. I kind of forgot I already played a Veigar, and I will say partially the reason why you're seeing me play Veigar and not, let's say, Anivia. You know, I knew I was against a Zed, by the way. I don't want to get burnt out of Anivia. Like, she's a very good pick for me. I've maintained a 70% win rate. Meanwhile, Singed is just getting wrecked now in top lane. Yeah, maintaining a 70% win rate, really good KDA on that champion. I don't want to get burnt out of Anivia, because when, you know, hopefully in the next few weeks, months, whatever you want to say, hopefully we'll be closer to, you know, we'll be in Diamond 1 and making our way back into Master. If I'm burnt out by Anivia by the time we make it to that rating, well, that's going to be quite bad, because I know, you know, clearly everybody has kind of these special picks that they know they're good at, and Anivia is definitely one of mine at the moment. I know I'm going to probably use Anivia to bump into Master. Like, that she is probably my best champion right now, so I don't want to get burnt out on my way there. Unfortunately, that cage just missed. You can see the Zed is really trying to get a kill. I don't know if you guys can kind of pick up on that, but just his playstyle, everything, he is desperate to get a kill right now. Everything about his playstyle is need to get kill, which, you know, it is what it is. I'm greedily looking for that cannon, and I do get it, which is quite good. I am going to go down, so this is the point. It's a bit stupid for me, and this is something that you do need to think about. Like, if I had mana for ultimate, I would have traded with that Zed there, but literally for a cannon minion I got, I died. Now the good thing is Amumu was in the area. We do end up getting an assist and a kill, so technically there's actually more gold for my team. A kill and assist is worth more than one kill if there's no bounties involved. Ogre support is roaming, and I thought this situation was really bad, by the way. Cho'Gath is missing from top lane. Zed's coming up in 5, so if this is an extended fight, it might not go well, but Singed does more damage than we expect, and Amumu does more damage than we expect too. So both of them just end up with a free kill each, and I'm like, okay, that's something. Didn't expect that. It is worth saying, obviously, the Singed got a kill on Cho'Gath, and then has died to Cho'Gath, I think, twice. Both of them are building full AP. You know, I think Singed might be going Riley first. Cho, I think, is going Everfrost, maybe. Oh, no, he actually goes Ludens. I thought he was going Everfrost, because that's kind of the natural thing. Even, like, a tank Cho'Gath goes Everfrost and then into tank. No, this guy built a Ludens on Cho'Gath. And you will see throughout this game, this Cho'Gath is still relatively tanky. He's really hard to deal with. And if he was a full tank that's still doing true damage in his ultimate, he'd be... oh, it'd be scary. But that's the mentality that some people have of, I'm going to build full AP on a champ that probably shouldn't. You know, it is what it is. So, game so far not going great. From memory, this game, I will say, was quite a long one. So my throat doing a full POV commentary is going to be dead after this. I think it was roughly a 40-minute game. So bear with me, everybody. Buckle in. If you haven't yet, feel free to pause, go get a drink, go get a snack. Remember to like the video. That does always help out. But yeah, like, it's going to be a long one. But I do like showing games like that I think deserve to be showed. So Singe dies again, by the way, and these are all bad deaths. He's dying in the 1v1. So a big fight is on. I'm predatoring to get to the fight. Zed makes it there first before me. So it's a 4v3. I get a nice little double cage, and unfortunately, look at that. I get exhausted before my ultimate goes off. So that was so close to be maybe even close to a double kill for me, but ends in nothing. So 3 of my team are dead. I think I do survive this Zed here. Was expecting, oh, is Urgot going to be there, but he's not. So yeah, alas, not to be. Again, this point in the game is not a Veigar's strength, obviously. So am I expecting to do amazing in a team fight right now? No. I was a little bit late to it, but, you know, that would have been hard to get to on time, technically. And also, I could have got 1 kill there. It's just unfortunate, the exhaust. It is what it is. That's exactly what exhaust is for. Singe, you can see, is he tilted? I'm not really sure, but he's not in top lane, which is, you know, he's top lane singed. He's all the way in bot lane. Zeri's decided to go top lane right now to make use of, oh, Singe's bot, he can farm down there for a while. I'll go top, so you're not losing out gold. You know, if Zeri just ran bot lane straight away, then you're losing actually quite a lot of gold from top. So it's good what Zeri did there. Amumu, I don't know. He just got a tower plate, I think. He was looking aggressive. I think he might have been fighting the Zed. I don't know. I'm predatoring just to see if I can get anything. Probably not, though. Zeri is fighting the Cho'Gath. And just reminding, the Cho'Gath at this stage, I think, was 4-1. So Zeri's doing well. And then I believe Cho'Gath, yeah, he just basically noms, I think, the Zeri, pretty much. And it was like, ah. So they are fighting the Kayn. He is going to go down. I'm caging just to see if that will help at all. I'm mainly focused on, oh, could I get a tower plate here? It's unlikely because now Urgot's covering the lane. But yeah, I still will say, you know, the whole theory crafting, I still don't know why you'd want to play Urgot support. I don't really see the benefit of that. Like, he's got, because like some people say the kind of weirder picks and support, what's their benefit if they don't have a lot of items? Technically, Urgot does have one. He's got his ultimate, so that is a percentage-based ultimate. That's not an item-based ultimate. You know, it's not your AD gives you the damage for your ulti. It's percentage-based for the execute, so it'll always execute people whether you're a support or a top lane or whatever. Singe, by the way, gets killed by a Cho'Gath again, and he actually didn't go Riley first. He went Demonic first instead, which, you know, it's still a good item on Singe. Don't get me wrong, but not. Again, if you're losing this badly in the 1v1, would you continue building full AP? That's the question. So I'm just going to try and survive the Zed, do a really good job caging and then walking into it. And as I've said a couple times, this Zed's mechanics didn't seem incredibly clean. He goes for an ignite on me for no reason, really, and I do survive. And, you know, right now I will take a survival versus a Zed all-in because I'm still scaling. The game is gone not great in the early game for me, but it's not gone absolutely terribly. So, you know, we'll kind of take that, to be honest. It's not the worst situation. We have pretty damn good scaling. Zed, I love the champion, so this is not a slight on Zed. Meanwhile, all-in is happening. Brom is getting eaten. If Zeri actually committed a bit earlier to that fight, by the way, I think they might have been able to get the Brom not killed by the Urgot. But it is what it is. But yeah, I do outscale a Zed. I like Zed. Meanwhile, Singe dies again. I like Zed. People know this, but he does fall off. Most assassins do in teamfight late game, but pretty much most of them. There are some exceptions. You know, if you do truly one-shot people, then it doesn't really matter if you get counted in a team fight, because boom, someone's one-shot. I'm baiting the Zed here, by the way, on purpose. I get a really good cage. So that cage was going to land, so Zed would have died anyway if he didn't W, and he W'd and Mumu was there. And honestly, we would have just got that kill anyway. Like, that was my first play that I actually outplayed the Zed this whole game. And it ends with a kill. So that's always a nice situation. That's part, I would say, one of the biggest things. I'm caging because I can see Kayn in the area. He does get Chain CC'd. Big damage. He does get into the Amumu. You know, just Kayn things. Look at the healing. Like, it's absolutely mad. So Riot has said they're going to be nerfing healing in the near future. I do get a kill, but because of how much the Kayn healed, it delayed us enough that I'm now dead because Brand could get there. But yeah, they are nerfing healing. But Singe says again, you know, I will say the spam ping that I've mentioned in the Gangplank episode, this was the game after. So doing these POV commentaries, I have noticed I am doing that probably a bit too much. So tomorrow, of me recording this, I'm actually recording this on Sunday. Tomorrow, Monday, fresh new recording day, fresh new recording session. I'm going to not do that or make a very big effort not to. So hopefully you guys will like that. I'm going to go Everfrost this game. As you guys know, I'm not a massive Everfrost fan in general, but there are some champions I do think it's good on. I would never buy it on Ahri. I'd never buy it on Anivia. Anivia, I don't think you need it. Ahri, I think it lessens your carry potential too much. But with Veigar, I actually think it's fine. Why? Well, Veigar, you get 1,000 ability power, right? You know, you're not really lacking in damage. You've got 1,000 ability power. So I'm going to go for a cage, and unfortunately, that stun hit, then into the Urgot ulti, into the brand, everything, and boom, dead. So that was fun. You know, am I expecting the enemy? Well, I'm saying, am I expecting the enemy bot lane mid right now? No, but they were mid, so I probably should have played appropriately. Zeri's in bot lane by herself, and Cho'Gath flashes. Again, if you notice the Cho'Gath build, by the way, it literally is... he did go Everfrost. Oh, wait, I thought he went Ludens. Apparently, I'm crazy. I swear he went Ludens. Oh, well. He went Everfrost, and then he's gone Deathcap first item. Deathcap. So, yeah. Now, we aren't, I would say, really... A Cho'Gath should not be this fed in the early game. Clearly, it's a full AP Cho'Gath. The Singed, you know, he is just having a nightmare of a game. He's inting, kinda. Not really sure what he's doing, and I don't think he knows what he's doing, unfortunately. And I would say that is the partial, the negative of Singed as a champion. Has to be said, if a very basic champion goes wrong, it usually goes really wrong, because they don't have any outplay. It's like when the Master Yi. If a Master Yi goes wrong, it goes really wrong. If it goes well, it goes really well. There's no in-between, because he's a very basic champion. There is no outplay with a Mumu. With Master Yi. There's no outplay with Singed. Basic champions either do very well because the basic stuff is working and the enemy isn't countering it, or the enemy team counters it and they get wrecked. There's no in-between, and that's what's happened this game with a Singed. Maybe, again, bit of a smarter thing would have been is instead of dying as much as he did in the early game, maybe buying a bit of magic resist just to get him through the early game would have been better. Enemy team do get the dragon, and my team just kind of chase a lot of people. Urgot is going for a kill. I do end up getting it, but then, alas, enemy team is all here. I'm not really sure at this stage why Amumu's top lane. I think I mentioned that. Like, he's our jungler. He's our big team fight AoE champion, and he's top split pushing on Amumu. It was very weird. Again, that is just, it doesn't make sense. You know, some people might be like, oh, you know, you're behind right now in the game. You don't want to team fight them. Honestly, I think we can. Like, our comp's actually not bad. In a grouping situation where they've got an Assassin Z, we actually should do pretty well. Our CC is mad. Veigar cage, Amumu ult, Brom in general, especially with his ult, everything. Singe W and his flip. You know, Zeri doesn't offer CC, but, you know, it's a lot of CC and AoE damage. You know, that's the thing. Zeri also is an AoE teamfight AD carry. All of her autos with her build do AoE. Looking for the brand here. He just goes for a crazy all-in, and he's really fed right now. And to be honest, I will say, at this point, I probably was a little bit tilted myself. Just a little from, you know, what's been happening in today's play session, and I die. So Brand actually ends up with a double kill there. I didn't really expect him to do that much damage. Maybe I should. Obviously, we've played Brand recently ourselves, and that champion does a lot of damage. So yeah, maybe a bit of underestimating, a bit of tilt from myself. And, you know, that's the thing. I'm human. I tilt too. I think there's a really weird parameter that the community of League of Legends will fully accept that they tilt themselves. Like, if you're watching this video, you'll accept that you tilt yourself. You'll go through moments that you're pinging people or being a bit frustrated. Not rage, but frustrated. But then the moment a pro does it, or a moment a content creator does it, a lot of people are very critical. And it's like, ooh, you know, we are human too. I know a lot of people forget content creators, not just League, but you know, content creators in general in the world. A lot of people kind of forget we're humans. It does happen, but we are. And yeah, no, it does happen, especially when League, as it's, you know, is a very frustrating game, very high, you know, stress with wanting to climb, having that expectation to climb. And look at this. So what did I just mention? Oh, Huz, maybe, you know, your team can't team fight. Look, so this is our next team fight, and I get a kill there in Kane. That was a pretty clean 3v1 team fight. So there you go. The Amumu himself basically one-shot two people. That's my point. So when I was seeing Amumu top lane by himself, I was a little bit confused about that. You can see my team also is still, you know, they're also a bit frustrated with the Singed. He just constantly is dying. You should never be constantly dying. Like, that's just a little bit of an advice. Like, you can alter your playstyle. So I get a nice Everfrost there, but his jump still went on. And Urgot jump, unfortunately for me, is a what we call a animation spell. If part of the animation is gone through, the spell will happen no matter what. So yeah, the Singed, if he adjusted his playstyle correctly, he would never keep dying in the 1v1 to the Cho'Gath. That's the point. It's about adjusting. Now, obviously, this play, or this game, I'm not having a perfect game by any means. But I'm not continuously dying 1v1 again and again and again when nothing's going to change. Like, the Cho'Gath is only getting more ahead of this Singed, so why is Singed still forcing 1v1s? That's the point. Like, that is more when, you know, the player's kind of doing it on purpose at that point, because they are choosing to fight the Cho'Gath 1v1 rather than walking away or whatever. So yeah, it's just a bit weird. But again, the good thing with this game is scaling is definitely on our side. We're now grouping mid lane apart from the Zeri, so she's fighting the Zed. That also partially, I will say, happened this game. You know, very weird things happen in solo queue nowadays. The Zeri liked split pushing. No idea why, don't ask me. Zeri, as I said, like with even the Amumu, there are some amazing teamfight orientated champions. There's Zed, hello. Zeri is one of the best team fighting AD carries in the game. Her build, you know, whether you like it or not, meanwhile we get a Zed. I cage over the wall to kind of block the Zed's W or flash, depending if what he was going to do. Unfortunately, Amumu gets the kill. I would have liked that, obviously, clearly. But yeah, not to be. Baron is what we decide to go for here. Because Dragon is spawning. We're nowhere near the Dragon, so we'd have to, like, run into no vision. So we decide, well, let's just go for Baron. And unfortunately for us... I know, well, I was going to say, unfortunately for us, Cho'Gath steals it, but I don't think he does, actually. I think that was a different game that I was mixing up. But obviously, Cho'Gath is a very powerful stealer of objectives. His ulti will outsmite, technically, any smite. A smite nowadays does 900. I think Cho'Gath ult will do clear over 1,000. So, yeah, if a Cho'Gath just average ults, and yeah, that was a bad Zhonya's, had it the wrong button on. I literally, if you notice, I was changing my items around. I changed my boots from 3 to 1, and then the moment after, I go for press Predator, and I press Zhonya's instead. So that was annoying. But yeah. Urgot mispositioning. I do flash there. Not really sure I needed to. And again, unfortunately, a shutdown for Amumu. Just not getting these kills. Amumu, he's doing okay damage, don't get me wrong. And this guy, by the way, he was a wild ranked Amumu. You can see his name is Looking for Friends. It kind of goes in Amumu's kind of design ethos. He is going quite aggressive, has to be said. You know, he's flashing. We're going very all in. I get the brand. I don't like our positioning, by the way. We had Baron. Why are we playing that risky? Why are we playing that crazy? Is also worth mentioning, look where our AoE teamfight AD carry is. She's top lane. As I said, she loved split pushing. Not really sure why. Singed, by the way, does a really good job there. He kills the Zed. I was honestly really surprised. I actually checked. He only has 1 dot item. I actually expected him to have 2 dot items for that, you know, with his Q, Demonic, and I was expecting to see a Leandri's because I just didn't really expect that Zed to die, but he did. So that's not bad. It's still a bad situation, but it recovers the fight a little bit, especially. So, you know, swings and roundabouts. But yeah, Zeri's still split pushing. Yeah. But, you know, things are going definitely better for our team. You know, kills, we're still behind, but it is improving. It is getting there. My farm, obviously, is obscenely low. Because here's the negative, and, you know, the one thing that I've always said at me as a weakness as a player is I don't really trust my teammates, so I will never really side lane, and that is where, in this part of the game, 20 minutes plus as a mid laner, where do you actually go get your big farm, where you see mid laners kind of start really rapidly getting up in the farm is side laning. That's what you do. And, well, a big reason I also don't want to side lane this game is I don't have TP. TP would obviously give you confidence to do it. I'm looking for the Urgot here, by the way. Pop Predator. Go for the Everfrost first with Cage. Unfortunately, though, he had ulti, but then Brom follows it up. I go for my ult, because otherwise, literally, Amumu's just going to take every kill, so I just need to get some. He walks into my cage, get another Brom stun there. Silence has happened. I get another kill. Brand ult coming down, big damage. Gonna go for another cage. Big Amumu ultimate. I stun the Zed, I think, or someone else might have stunned him. I Zhonya's. Zed nearly survive. I nearly die. Brand then going for me. I Everfrost him. I get him into my ulti, and I kill the Brand. So I survive that. So that was an insane team fight, I will say, by me, if I do say so myself. You can see the Brom is pinging Veigar. Obviously, there's two different pings. One is, what the hell are you doing? What are you, like, as a bad ping? But there's also, if someone does something really good, you also can ping your teammate too. That was a really good team fight. We hit multiple good cages. We blocked a lot of the enemy team. We got 2 or 3 kills. We even then survived. So that was a bit crazy. If you're wondering what's going on now, I thought I was basing. Genuinely thought I was basing that whole time, and the base just didn't happen or didn't start. So I was like, oh my god, I literally could have died quite easily there. But that was really good. Very happy about that. So that has nearly put us into the lead of kills, but we are now crazy, you know, believe it, with how bad this game went for me early. We are positive KDA, not just positive KD, we are positive KDA. We are 865, or positive KD. We've got more kills than we have deaths. And this is where I would also say, with our comp that I've spoken about a lot, how good it is in team fighting, especially compared to the enemy. Now, yes, they've got a Brand, but they have a Zed. Zed's never going to do well in team fights. They also have a full AP Cho'Gath. It's going to get wrecked in team fights. He's just going to get melted. He's not tanky at all. That's what they needed, and he's not that. So this is where grouping is really important. Looking for another pick on the Urgot. Managed to get the cage. And this is the thing. I think any second I go for maybe an ultimate play, or just go for block out the cage, which is always nice. They get the Urgot. So I do survive. Izonia's maybe a bit early, but then Amumu gets a nice little cage there. Dragon is, by the way, is the thing that's coming up. Amumu ultimate goes down. Kayn, you can see in the back line, I'm just trying my best to stop him getting into the fight, and we do. He is desperately looking for me, by the way. I survive, he gets stunned, and I'm alive. Second team fight in a row that I end up surviving. Enemy team nearly gets me, but they don't. So again, good cage to stop the Kayn getting into the fight, and then desperately he tried to kill me, and I don't die, so that's really good. Well played also to my team. So you can see it's starting to get there. Our team is starting to finally work together, and that's all we've ever needed. We've just needed our comp to work together, and it really shuts down the enemy comp. You know, it truly does. We are looking for, well, we are being a bit greedy here, but not in a bad way. We're looking for inhib, but our Zeri has stayed on the dragon. Baron is also spawning, but we end up getting both. We get the dragon, we get the inhib at the exact same time, pretty much. That's always a good thing. So that's nice. That's now put us officially ahead in the kills. So 31-28 to us. Still not really getting any farm. I don't really know when I could get farm now, because the incentive for me is not to side lane, as I've mentioned, especially that I don't have TP. So I just don't really see when I'd side lane to bring up my farm numbers or anything like that. Like, I'm pretty strong right now. You know, I've got over 500 ability power. It's not like I'm weak in the game. Yes, I could be stronger if I had better farm, no doubt. But I'm level 14. My lane opponent Zed is level 13, so I'm ahead of him. He's actually having quite a bad game, if you've not noticed. He's like 1-7 or something like that. Because, again, he can't find team fights. He can't find kills in a team fight. Now, Baron is up, and Amumu, by the way, is doing Baron. He does actually kill Baron quite quickly himself. If you guys remember a little while ago, there was that situation that Amumu could literally solo Barons. I'm just trying to kind of bully the Zed away. I did not expect Brand to be in that bush. And unfortunately, you know, I kind of gave it away earlier. But yeah, Cho'Gath does steal the Baron. Is it the worst situation in the world? Well, yes and no. Do I blame the Amumu? Maybe he shouldn't be doing it without the Zeri. You can see where Zeri is. She is literally split pushing, which he should not be doing. Nearly get that kill on Kayn, and then he heals a million, and I don't think I get it. Oh, no. So again, genuinely don't know why Zeri is split pushing. To me, that is, I would basically call it trolling at this stage. But yeah, Amumu tries to do the Baron. It wasn't a bad call. It's just the fact that it's a Cho'Gath, and he flash eats it, and there's not much you can do about it. Yes, it definitely would have helped if our AD carry was grouped, and we probably would have aced them, potentially. You know, having our pretty damn strong Zeri, who does crazy AoE, not in team fights, is the difference of us getting aced, or, you know, 4 of us getting killed, or them getting killed. That's the thing. So it's very weird. You know, it's just solo queue nowadays. You know, the one thing I will say is if you expect complete logic and complete sense from solo queue, you're probably going to drive yourself mad no matter what rating that you're in. You know, when we even do our challenger spectates, you even see some really weird things in challenger spectates. You know, that's League nowadays, as weird as it sounds. But, you know, but we don't, well, they don't have, well, they do have Baron right now, but is it really gonna change the course of the game? Probably not. Like, again, with grouping, if we do, I know I'm mentioning that a lot, you know, I'm pinging the Zeri because I'm like, you need to group. There is no reason for her to split push right now. And what the team decide to do, and like, I don't actually mind this partially, if this Zeri for some reason is fixated on split pushing, well, let's just go to her. You know, force her to group by grouping with her instead of her grouping with you. Unfortunately, though, this would have turned into a base race, which isn't good. I did cancel my TP there because I thought there was a big fight happening in top lane, but it wasn't. But yeah, base race is a bit silly. They have Baron. You know, they've got Baron buff, so we're going to lose a base race. So they actually open up the base. And Mumu, unfortunately, in his base, he does not get back in time. I go for a cage. We're going to get the Urgot. He does, well, maybe the Urgot. Brando in trouble. I just burst the Brand not to let him get his big AoE off because that's quite important. You can see a surrender vote actually comes down from the Mumu. So, you know, the negative mindset for the Mumu's crept in there a little bit. And it was just unfortunate for him. Meanwhile, Kane, as you can see, is looking for me. Don't know what I did to this Kane. He really didn't like me, clearly. I get the cage off, and I do die, but the Kane, in theory, should die. Unfortunately, there's Zeri the wrong side of the wall, and Kane now will just probably do Kane things for a while and run around the whole map. But yeah, that was just unfortunate for Amumu. They all were basing top lane, and Amumu's base was just a slight second delay, and that managed the Zed and the Kane to kill the Amumu. Unfortunate, but to be honest, that base race should never have even been close to happening. That was just, again, the Zeri side laning, so people go group with the Zeri because that's what she wants to do for some reason, and the enemy team have got Baron, so they just go straight down mid. It's smart by the enemy team of what they're doing, so yeah. Anyway, I do think I'm opting, by the way, for Death Cap as my next item. Normally, I'd like to go Death Cap before Zhonya's, but obviously this game was... The nature of the game was I just needed to survive, and Zhonya's gives me that survival. Ability power wise, though, just checking in on that, 688 ability power with using the elixir. So again, it's not like I'm weak. Unfortunately, I make a mistake here because I'm like, oh, Veigar, you know, he's overstayed, and I noticed that he used his W. What I didn't expect was him to flash on me, because he actually mucked up and he used his W in a really bad time just before I engaged with him. And yeah, you'll notice that his little flash he did just got him over my wall, the barrier, black cage, whatever it's called. And yeah, that was unfortunate. So that was a bad death by me. You know, hands up, fully would admit that was not good. That also gave the enemy team complete dragon, but to be honest, that wasn't a great situation no matter what. If I ran over to go help with the dragon, well, Zed would have got the inhib anyway. So, you know, unfortunate. Also, my Zhonya's was not timed. My Zhonya's was on cooldown at the time, so that just kind of sucked, but that was definitely my fault. There's no doubt about that. But yeah. So the Cho'Gath, I would say one of the big negatives of Cho'Gath as a champion, he's massive. That is a disadvantage. It's an advantage, I will say. Meanwhile, big fight is happening. AoE damage galore. Unfortunately, they all get feared by Urgot, it looks like. Zeri's trying to do what she can, but I just don't think it's enough. And the enemy team will end up winning the fight in general. It's a 3-for-3, technically. I do get a stun on the Kane. Well, Kittish. I decide in a second, and unfortunately, I just lost a vision. I get the brand. I don't think that's a bad thing, but it will give Kane probably the inhib. I did potentially think that the brand was on a shutdown, but I actually don't think he was in the end. So level 17 Red Kane will do a lot of damage, will heal a crazy amount, and is very tanky. He's kind of got everything going for him to Kane as a champion. Because look at his build in the top left. It's a mixture of tank and bruiser, but his damage is still ridiculously high. So yeah, but anyway, craziness last couple minutes. Not great play by me. I got a bit sloppy. Fully admit I got a bit sloppy because we actually got a lot better, you know, in the mid game. We had a couple team fights where I ended up surviving and doing really well. Well, the last couple minutes, sloppy play has actually taken over my game. So that's not good. You don't want sloppy play, but it does happen from time to time. Cho'Gath, you can see he is starting to actually buy a bit of ability power. That's going to be for the Amumu and also for me, because we can actually weirdly burst this Cho. You know, he's very squishy with the build that he's got. And even with just one EP item, sorry, MR item, Thon, I think he's got, he's still going to be ridiculously squishy for what a Cho'Gath is supposed to be. Going back to what I was saying, the size of Cho'Gath is both a positive and a negative for the champion. It's a negative if you're full AP, because you can get hit by a lot more things easier and you're squishy. But it's a... Oh, I look for the Cho'Gath. I don't land it, but Amumu lands it. Not loving my positioning here, has to be said. Zeri's just getting bullying the Cho away. Another big cage comes through, and this fight looking okay. My cage stunned the Urgot in the background there, not bad. Amumu's fighting the Kayn. I get my cage down to try and help out. Help the Zeri get a triple kill there on Urgot with the Brom passive into the stun. Unfortunately misses the Kayn apparently, and now we can just kind of ignore them. We've got number advantage. 3 of them are dead. Only Amumu's dead for us. Our Zeri is alive. We can just ignore them and just barrel into their base. That's the thing. We can do that. So, not bad. Honestly, most of my team fight is happening. And, you know, it's the power of the item. Get the... Oh, very close there. Do get the stun on the Zed. So that's a bad potential death from Zed. He's not dead yet. He's not dead yet. He's nearly dead. He gets the singed, believe it or not. And he's not actually dead. We are going for the Kayn. He takes 0 damage, apparently. Zed does go down eventually. Kayn looking for me, I think. Oh, I'm alive. I do cage. But here's the thing. This is, you know, this is a tank, basically a tank Kayn, doing more damage than a Zeri, out healing a Zeri's damage. It's just, that's Kayn, and then I get sniped. So the Amumu is creeping in, obviously, to be negative. He's asking for a surrender. I actually do say yes. The reason why I say yes, I thought right now the game was over. I thought the enemy team is just going to run mid lane and that's it. GG. Spoiler, it's not, apparently. So Zeri tries her best, and I would say that was maybe a slight mistake by the enemy team. Like, yes, killing a Zeri is good, but they aren't ending. What they decide to go do instead, they go to do Baron. So yes, Baron is good, but that means the game isn't over right now. So that's why I said yes to the surrender vote, because I literally expected the enemy team just to walk mid lane with 4 or 5 people and end the game. They don't do that. They kill Zeri, fair enough, and then they go do Baron instead. Also, I don't know if the microphone's picking it up. I literally can hear an owl or something right out my window, so thanks, Mr. Owl, for distracting me commentating. The hell? Hoot hoot. So Dragon is coming up again very soon. Ability power check-in, 731. With death cap, that would be a huge boost, but this game, again, it's not going great. I think I've only gained about 10 minion farm in about 10 minutes, so that's terrible. It's just not that type of game. You know, we are very much concentrating on team fighting, not farming, which, you know, has positives and negatives. Probably, unfortunately for me, more negatives right now than positives, if it, you know, has to be said. And Dragon is around. Now, I did think at the time, I believe this Dragon, if the enemy team gets it, it is Dragon Soul. It is. And it's Mountain Dragon Soul. And, you know, it was a bit demoralizing having a Mountain Dragon Soul on the Kayn, the Urgot who's tanky, and then that's also making a full AP Cho'Gath tankier. So that was a bit of a blow of like, oh, really? Okay, they're going to be very tanky. But again, you know, the game's not over. I get a cage around the Cho'Gath. Amumu engages. Everfrost the Cho'Gath. He is taking a bunch of damage, but not dead yet. Another big cage, stopping the enemy team's progressing forward. I kill the Cho'Gath, so he's now dead. Big cage, just blocking the enemy team quite well. Zeri's doing a lot, by the way. It's hard to kind of notice what she's doing because it's Zeri. She's just kind of crazy. Cage misses, unfortunately. That wasn't great. Brand mispositions, gets stunned by Brom passive. I then finish off the kill. Advantage us team fight. Zeri gets another kill. Modern day League of Legends champions, baby. Unfortunately, Brom gets killed by Brand. I don't know if it was technically Brand or he got killed by a minion. Unfortunately, that wasn't a great death by us. You know, no death is a great death. And I decide, like, maybe we can actually just push forward. I don't have much mana. I'm hiding off to the side here because I'm kind of wanting them to fully engage, and they do. I get Urgot sniped. Zed's got a thingy thing. We are just trying to kill him, but, you know, the damage is lackluster right now. Zeri does kill him in the end, and now I literally have no mana. So, can we end? Can we not? I decide I'm going to go help. The Zeri wants to keep pressing forward, and the weird thing with Veigar, he does actually decent auto damage for towers. You know, nearly 400 a pop there, as you can see. We do end up killing both of the towers for the enemy Nexus, and now I think it's time to leave. You'll see I'm basing. I think I cancel my base and going to base in a more appropriate area. But that has made the kills now even. We're in a 40-minute game, basically, and the kills are 46 apiece. So the one thing I will say is I think a lot of us have been getting used to League of Legends in the last couple of years. Has just been stomp fest, stomp fest, stomp fest. One team just wins in 20 minutes. It is refreshing to have a 40-minute game that's really close. You know, it really is. We're even on kills and everything. Ability power check, by the way. With purchasing Deathcap, we are officially over 1,000 ability power with Veigar. So, yeah, you know, last game, I think I would have titled that Veigar game. I think I'm titling it, is 1,000 ability power enough to carry with Veigar? Unfortunately, that game, no, it wasn't. But this game, I'm not the big carry this game, I think, clearly. Zeri has been the bigger carry when she has finally been grouping, and you know there's now literally no official way or reason why she should be split pushing. I think she was doing it to get gold and XP. Well, she's level 18. I by the way, I go all in here. The reason why I go all in, it might seem a bit like, oh my god, Huzzy, that was kind of an int. I saw the Urgot. He gave away his position. I did not know Brand was in there, but I was like, wait, they're out of position. So I go absolutely all in like a mad lad. And we end up getting the kill, and that's just straight up going to win us the game, practically. So that was a really good play. So I was very happy about that. Cho'Gath is just going to get kited for free, because, again, that's the negative of a Cho. It's that kind of what we said, new champions versus old. If Cho'Gath was released now in 2022, he'd have probably crazy mobility part of his kit, you know, on top of what he already does. Old champions don't have that. And that, ladies and gentlemen, if I'm not mistaken, is the game. So I was very happy actually with that end team fight. Obviously very sloppy game from me in general. Zed going all in just to try and see if he can get me. I go for a ulti. I do die. I would have killed him, I think, in the end too. But that is it. So a stressful game, you know, but a good win. And what I also wanted to show, which is clearly important, is if you remember all the way back at the beginning of the game, I explained the rating that we were in. This got us back into Diamond 2. So we started this game Diamond 3, 91 LP, and there you go. So we're straight away back promoted to Diamond 2. So I will, by the way, say I'm going to lessen the amount of POV commentaries. We've done like 3 of them within the last few days. So I don't want to do much more POVs now for a little while. But yeah, not terrible. Damage-wise, I was honestly kind of happy with that. This wasn't a great game for me. And also just to point out, I was pointing out there, the Cho'Gath went full AP and didn't do much damage. Like, what's the point of being full AP if you're not doing that much damage? If he went tank and was much of a bigger distraction, that Zeri couldn't kill him quickly, I couldn't kill him quickly, it would have done a lot more work. The enemy team, I would say, would have had a much better chance of winning that game if Cho'Gath went tank. It's just distraction level. When he's full AP and he's the size of a London bus, he's really easy to kill. He's really easy to hit with stuns and abilities, and he dies quick. And he can't do his damage very much in late game team fights because he can't get to people. But that's going to be it. If you guys did enjoy, please do throw a like on it, throw a comment, throw a subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.
Call down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace. Restore our glory to live forever. Bring down the dark regime. I know how to unleash eternal.